Since 1997, Blizzard's Diablo series has been a much beloved PC staple, offering up hundreds of hours of fast-paced dungeon crawling and loot grinding set in a dark fantasy world overrun by demons and other monstrous creatures. Now, however, Diablo is preparing for its most ambitious and widespread release yet, mobile. Announced back in 2018 to fan shock and even frustration,
Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah.
the first pocket-sized Diablo game is almost upon us. So, here is everything you need to know about Diablo Immortal. For all you Diablo fans who can't get enough of the grimdark world of Sanctuary, you'll be pleased to know that Diablo Immortal actually fleshes out the time period between Diablo 2 and Diablo 3 a bit more than we've previously seen. Set 5 years after the events of Diablo 2, Immortal takes place in the town of Wortham, a sleepy little village of hardly any consequence at all, until it's threatened by hordes of cultists and the undead. Players then learn from Diablo fan favorite Deckard Cain that to restore peace to the hamlet, and subsequently the world, they must travel across Sanctuary to track down and destroy shards of the World Stone, preventing a necrotic calamity. However, in the midst of all that chaos is yet another struggle: the conflict between the Immortals and the Shadows, referred to as the Cycle of Strife. According to the game's lore, the conflict first began when a powerful woman named Diadessa the Builder gave birth to two children, Kion and Akiba. To her son, Kion, she gifted an artifact known as the Eternal Crown, and bestowed upon him the responsibility of protecting Sanctuary from the undead. Ultimately, Kion used his power and the crown to create the Immortals, an organization focused on protecting the realm. However, to her daughter Akiba, Diadessa gave an even greater responsibility: to live in the shadows, constantly challenging and testing her brother's vigilance in order to ensure the Immortals were always worthy of their station. Akiba thus formed a group known as the Shadows, with the understanding that if they were ever able to overtake the Immortals, they would then become Immortals themselves. So, with all that going on, you'll be set out into the world, and you'll get to explore areas like Ashworld Cemetery, the Dark Woods, the Shansar Sea, Mount Zaven, and the Frozen Tundra. While Diablo Immortal retains the action role-playing elements and isometric perspective synonymous with the series, what sets it apart from its predecessors is that it's a free-to-play, mobile-based MMO, and is therefore structured to accommodate that style of gameplay. Blizzard has confirmed that while the game will have dungeons not dissimilar to those found in the PC and console games, they will be quite a bit shorter, averaging 10 to 15 minutes in length to make them more digestible for mobile players. The studio also confirmed that, much like World of Warcraft and other MMOs, you will be able to see other characters on the map and use voice chat to communicate with friends, adding a new level of interactivity to the series. Lastly, Immortal has also done away with the series' mana system in favor of a cooldown system that's more in line with traditional MMOs, but promises it will never turn to an energy system that limits the amount of free play time a player can sink into the game in a single day, a frequent complaint with mobile games. The gameplay is also designed to be played on the touchscreen, so it will feature virtual overlaid controls, though it will also support keyboard and mouse as well as a connected gamepad. Another notable change too is that you can actually move and attack simultaneously, which is not something you could do in previous games. Upon starting Immortal, players can choose from 6 returning character classes, each with 12 unique skills to unlock: Barbarian, Wizard, Monk, Necromancer, Demon Hunter, and Crusader. Throughout the campaign, players will gain experience points that allow them to increase their level, up to the game's current level cap of 60. Once they hit level 60, you can then achieve Paragon levels, which can be invested into 4 different skill trees: Survivor, Treasure Hunter, Vanquisher, and Gladiator. Blizzard has already confirmed that it plans on increasing the level cap, adding even more abilities, and implementing battle passes in the game as well. While the core of Immortals is single player, it also boasts several multiplayer activities as well. Players will be allowed to join up in parties of 4 to play through dynamic events together, in order to take on tougher dungeons and earn better loot. Further, at level 45, players will unlock the Heliquary, where they can hunt, trap, and beat boss demons in 8-player party raids, which, when completed, can grant character bonuses. The development team hopes to introduce new bosses every single month. The game also features PvP modes, including a basic 8 vs 8 battleground mode and the Cycle of Strife, a PvP system open to players who have reached Immortal's endgame. Here, players can join either the Immortals or Shadows faction, or simply be adventurers. Shadows will work to offset Immortal players by completing different Shadows activities, while Immortals will do the same. One example that the developers gave of these activities was Keon's Ordeal, a 48-player raid with groups of 12 players fighting 4 bosses at the same time. Once the Shadows have progressed against the Immortals enough, the Rite of Exile will trigger, where the top player from the Immortals will become a boss and must defeat the top 30 Shadows players in a 30v1 battle. If the Immortals win, nothing changes, but if the Shadows win, all 30 players are resurrected in a battle royale to decide which Shadow Clan becomes the new Immortals, starting a new cycle. The Diablo Immortal team plans for these cycles to last between 1 and 3 months at a time. While the Diablo games might be known for their PC presence, Blizzard initially stated that Diablo Immortal would strictly be a mobile game, a fact that caused a lot of tension back when it was announced. However, Blizzard eventually announced that the game will be coming to PC, meaning that you'll be able to experience Diablo Immortal on its home turf. There will even be crossplay, meaning that you can switch where you want to murder the forces of hell at your will. Even beyond that, while there's been little specifics, there will also be cross-progression, meaning that most likely you'll be able to play as your character on both PC and mobile, letting you jump back and forth between the two platforms without losing any experience or loot. On top of that, as the game was initially designed for mobile, the game won't be too taxing on any PC, so as long as you have a basic setup, you should be good to go. Though, to note, the game will be in open beta on PC at launch. Sadly, however, no announcement of if the game will be coming to consoles has yet been forthcoming. Since Diablo Immortal was a mobile game first, it is completely free to play, meaning you don't have to pay a single dime to kill some demons. Even further, Blizzard stated that the game would also not include any pay-to-win mechanics, but, you know, Diablo players are used to grinding their way through levels. However, there will be a battle pass, with free and paid tracks. There are 40 free and 40 paid ranks, each requiring battle points to unlock, which you earn by completing specific activities. There will also be a $5 option to unlock the battle pass, while $15 unlocks 14 ranks. As for the release date, Diablo Immortal is set to launch on June 2nd, 2022 at 10 a.m. PDT in most areas of the world. On mobile, it will be released in full, but on PC it will still be in open beta. Blizzard did note, however, that some folks may notice the game rolling out on the Apple App Store and Google Play starting June 1st, so keep your eyes peeled if you want to download the game early. Further, Diablo Immortal will launch in open beta on PC, Android, and iOS in some Asian Pacific regions on June 22nd PDT, including Hong Kong, Indonesia, Macau, Malaysia, the Philippines, Singapore, Taiwan, and Thailand. Immortal will also launch on that same day in Vietnam, but for PC and open beta only. And all of those regions will receive dedicated game servers. If you want to play Diablo Immortal on PC, you can preload the game on your computer from battle.net right now, so as soon as the game launches on June 2nd, you can be ready to go at the first possible moment. Sadly, as it's free to play, you're out of luck if you're looking for a fancy steelbook game case or some sweet pre-order swag. However, you can pre-register to play the game at Diablo Immortal's official website. At this point, most of the beta tests and other benefits have already passed from pre-registering, but there may be other rewards and news that you may get by doing so. Also, before we wrap out, it's worth mentioning that Activision Blizzard has been in the news a lot lately, and not just because it was acquired by Microsoft. It's also currently facing ongoing allegations of harassment leveled against the company in general, as well as general ethics violations, as well as misconduct allegations leveled at current CEO Bobby Kotick. If you want to learn more about that situation, we have linked further information in the description that goes into detail. And that's everything we have about the upcoming Diablo Immortal. It's been a rocky road for this game pre-release, but hopefully once it's out in your hands, literally, it'll still prove worthy of the name Diablo. For more on Diablo Immortal, as well as everything in the series, make sure you subscribe to the channel right here on GameSpot. Until next time, thanks for watching.